Good evening and good afternoon. My name is Thomas T. Canarian, and you are watching another Email Academy Part 2 coming to you live. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking successful strategies to increase your email list. And we've got some great people back here today. First and foremost, back for the second time, Senior Product Manager from MailJet by Cinch, Natalie Lynch. Natalie, how's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So glad you're with us today. And for the first time on another webinar, I'm super happy to introduce Rajni Shachin, Director of Product Marketing over here at Cinch Email. Rajni, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Super excited to be here today.
Yeah, love it. I'm so happy you're able to join us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, one more time, we are talking successful strategies to increase your email list. So, also, we have some other wonderful people we want to introduce and talk about really quick. So let's pull some of this deck up, shall we? All right. So like I said, successful strategies for email lists. And here's these wonderful people that are here talking to you for the brief moment. And also, we've got some more wonderful people in here with us today. I want to briefly talk about our team, Ilya, Alexandra, and Laura Mbe also supporting us today as well. We've also got Marina in here. And let's see who else we've got in here. Yeah, Marina and Krazi, Ilya, and our wonderful team, and Alexandra also supporting us. So we've got them hopefully answering any other technical deep questions that we may not cover today. But awesome. So with that being said, before we get going here in just a moment, just want to remind our viewers, please, 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 in the words of James Brown, please, please, please put those questions in the Q&A tab. We would love to make sure that we answer those and upvote the ones that are more pertinent to the subject. Also, let's see where everyone's coming in today. I want to see in the chat, where are people coming in from? Where in the world are you? We'd love to hear all that fun stuff. I'm coming in from Texas. Finally got some rain in this slightly boiling planet that we've got going right now, but things are getting more cooler. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and let our amazing presenters go and take this over, and I will be back for the Q&A portion. And I'll see y'all in just a moment.
Wonderful. Well, like I said earlier, I am super excited to be here with you all this morning and afternoon and evening. I've been in the email marketing space for over 17 years, and not only as a provider for the tools and solutions that we do within email marketing, but as an email marketer myself, working for a media publisher and retailer back in the day. So excited to speak to you guys about this very important topic today.
And as Thomas mentioned, I am Natalie Lynch. I am a senior product manager with Cinch MailJet. I have worked at the intersection of engineering and product for over 10 years now, and I'm excited to be here because I am very passionate about building these tools that allow you to make great email marketing campaigns.
Awesome. Okay, before we get started, we're going to do a quick poll. So Natalie is going to go ahead and we're going to stop sharing and we're going to get that poll up, and then we'll get into more of the details in the content.
So today we're asking what your level of expertise with email marketing is. The poll is open. Go ahead and put in your results so we can start seeing your level of expertise. All right, it looks like intermediate is winning so far. A lot of beginners joining us today. Okay, it looks like we got a lot of intermediate users today, so we'll keep this open, but stop sharing for a little bit as we hop into the deck and get on topic.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the wonderful content that Natalie and I have put together. So let's just start off, and really, all of us admit contact lists are held very near and dear to all of our hearts. Every business owner, marketer, developer out there, they're absolutely critical in communicating to our customers. There's so many benefits to building your own contact list, as you can improve your open rate, your click-through rate, customer trust, brand recognition. So today, we're going to spend some time on these strategies and best practices to consider when you're building out your contact list. Okay. It is absolutely imperative that these lists are built out organically and they are not purchased. Organically led lists are self-built, where your customers are opting in to receiving communication from you. This is key because these customers are engaging with you, which in turn drives positive ROI. Now, building your list can sound intimidating, but with the right tools and processes, you can build something quickly, manage it, and optimize it for growth. Making this affordable, personable, while building and owning that relationship with your customer. A key thing I've said multiple times in just the quick couple of minutes here is just really building that relationship with your customer. Okay, before we get into all the good stuff about all the things we want to do and what we should be doing, I want to take a quick pause and talk a little bit about what we should not do or which we should not be doing. It is not a great idea to purchase those external lists to build your current audience list. There, 12.5% of our senders admit they've purchased email contact list. The biggest and most important key takeaway here is consent. So when you buy that list, the individuals on that list have not consented to receiving email communication from you specifically. These lists are usually resold from company to company and may have originated from different places that impact the quality of these lists. So this obviously can lead to major issues that impact your engagement, your reputation, and then all leading into deliverability issues as well as GDPR violations. So definitely, absolutely key takeaway is making sure you get that consent and build that relationship with your customers when you're thinking about building out your contact lists. Okay, like I promised, the good stuff. So we're going to take the next 10-15 minutes and talk a lot more about the 5 areas to be mindful of when you're building out your contact list strategy. First and foremost, you want to build a customized sign-up form and landing page. This makes the experience unique and very personable to your customer. You're going to want to highlight the value. Why should your customers sign up? What are they getting? What value are you providing them? Also, you may want to add an incentive to joining your email your mailing list. Usually this includes discounts, promotions, exclusive content, and then also leverage your email signups across all channels, not just your website, right? Obviously your customers are engaging with you elsewhere, just not besides your website there. And finally, I love saying this, don't set it and leave it, optimize it. You'll want to continue to review and manage your performance through metrics, incentives, and engagement. Okay, moving on to how do we make this process easy? Let's take a look at how we really want to look at our opting in process. Sometimes we really over orchestrate what we want and make things harder for our customers than we had planned. My advice, don't over engineer it with a lot of copy. Keep it short, keep it sweet, get to the point. You want to limit the fields required so you can ensure that the customer does opt in for your email communication from you, right? So you want to minimize those steps. You can always follow up and get more information through different first-party data collection strategies. You don't want multiple landing pages or a laundry list of questions. This is going to derail the whole purpose and objective of what you're trying to do with your end and your customer. Now, the second half of this session, Natalie is going to be showing us some great examples of some opt-in forms. I'm going to pause for a second and see if Natalie or anybody else has some questions that we want to take live, because I know I've already gone through a couple of the key things that we want to be considering.
Yeah, I guess I would have the question of when we're building the forms, and we're thinking about seamless opt-in, how do we balance that with GDPR and explicit versus implicit opt-ins?
Yeah. So when we think about it, we want to minimize the fields that are in your opt-in form, right? So first name, last name, email address, and then having that call out that you are actually opting into receiving email communications from you. So you want to make sure that is clearly articulated in there and you're getting that buy-in from that end user. Now, there's a wide variety of ways that you can think about other things that you might want to add in, right? What is the value that I talked a little bit about? What are some of the other things that you want to trinkle in? But keep it short, keep it very intriguing, and incentivize them to making sure that they want to receive information from you. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on, and let's talk a little bit about the value. We really, as you think through it, what is the value? A lot of our subscribers and customers out there are getting outreach from multiple brands and entities that are out there. So what will your customers get? Why should they join? You want to make sure you're setting up the right expectations. This can include information on frequency, the type of messaging, promotional content that you may want to include, and then use different types of mythology to gain interest with urgency, incentive, and exclusivity. This will definitely provide that the FOMO effect, right? Feeling left out a little bit and wanting to make sure you're getting in on the know. Obtaining and growing a contact list has two measures of success, right? First, we must convince the customer to sign up. And second, we must keep them engaged. They want to keep receiving those emails from us. Perfect. We're going to move into highlighting incentives. So talked a little bit more about this, right? And there's different ways that you can do this. You can give exclusive content to customers that have joined your list. What I've seen in the past and in what I've looked at today is that you can offer a special exclusivity to an ebook or a report. Maybe there is a way that you can provide a customization piece or element that's personalized to that customer. I've seen like, hey, get your own customized report here. This gives you an opportunity to drive very unique incentives for getting for that customer to subscribe to your email communication. Next, this is probably what we hear about a lot, is offer a discount on the customer's next purchase. So you can offer a 10% off. You can offer 10 for 20 off, right? You've seen these already, and this does get the customer intrigued and wanting to go ahead and complete that purchase with you. You may want to promote regular and special deals, especially if you have a newsletter that has a very specific cadence to it. There's ways to highlight the different degrees of specials and offers that you may have that you want to articulate there. Now, the one thing to be cautious of is that when you do offer a discount, people might just join your list to get that % off or that discount off their next purchase. So the critical key takeaway here is that you want to make sure you keep them engaged beyond that first purchase, and continue offering them different things for them to be engaged with. Okay, moving right along, we have then making sure your CTA can be seen. So by offering customers multiple paths to the CTA to sign up, not only is it imperative that you place the CTA in a visible place, but consider additional paths that your customers may be taking when they arrive to your website. So where else should you be placing that CTA to sign up? The other thing is that you don't want to overload your CTAs on your website for signing up as well either, right? So think of it, good kind of rule of thumb has always been 2 to 4 spots on your website. You usually see homepage or about us. A lot of what is happening as industry best practice and things that you're seeing is the site header or a pop-up. Those are really great prominent points that you can consider when you're adding your sign-up form to those. Also, you want to consider those other channels, like I had mentioned earlier, right? Those are going to help boost your contact list as well by adding them to blog posts or social media content, any external pieces and digital footprint that you may have across the board. You want to make sure you're engaging your customers and your subscribers that way as well. And this is kind of a given, but I'm going to say it out loud, but you want to make sure it's clear and creatively visible I've seen where some of the buttons are more lighter colors, or they blend into your website color scheme. So you want to make sure it's clear and very creatively visible for your customers, so that they know what the ask is, they know what they're getting in return. And that's the key takeaway here is then, the more ways you can encourage your visitors to subscribe to your email, the stronger and bigger your email list will be. Awesome. Okay. Well, now we have built out our process. We know what we need to do as the do's and the don'ts of how to get our contact list going. The next piece is, how do we keep it healthy, right? And so there are some quick and easy ways to accomplish that. First and foremost, you're going to want to use a double opt-in process. This process means that you're sending a confirmation email to new subscribers to ensure that they want to be on the list. This entail also builds that trust and brand recognition. And in turn, it's going to reduce the spam, right? So you're getting that extra confirmation. And one of the key pieces here is that you really want to focus on the quality of your contact list and not so much of the quantity, right? It's super important that you're getting those customers that are truly intrigued and interested in learning more from you than just growing that contact base just from a account perspective. What we also know through a recent state of deliverability report that we released, that more than 52% of our senders are not using a double opt-in strategy. It's definitely a quick win. It allows us to be embedded into your workflow relatively quickly. And it really safeguards you as well, too, when you're thinking about growing and optimizing that contact list. Also, moving into the next one is you want to be able to use tools like verifications to keep your list clean. As I mentioned, we recently released this deliverability report, and 50% of our senders we surveyed were not using verification tools to automate their email address validation. Right? Again, a super quick win. And only of those, 25% were doing it at sign up. So this, again, can help keep your list clean. And if you're not doing it this time, do them occasionally, right? As you're going in and building that audience, you want to keep making sure that your lists are kept clean. You're removing any of those email addresses that may be harming your deliverability practices, right? From a sender reputation perspective or anything like that. And then this then leads me to my next point. You want to consistently be removing those inactive customers from your active contact list. You can take those inactive customers and apply a different strategy toward them, right? Execute a win-back strategy for your inactives. Drive them back to reactivate and engage with you in a different manner. A lot of this time is it's best practices and the way we're talking to a lot of our customers. And a win-back strategy can be a quick and easy way to get some of those inactive customers back into your active file, but also keeping that active list healthy and being able to be more focused on the engagement and the performance of it. Okay, moving on. Next, we're going to talk a little bit more about performance. So you want to make sure you're looking at your engagement across the entire opt-in process. You want to look at it from beginning to end, right? Where are all the different workflows or the paths where you're leading your customer subscriber base to signing up for your emails, and look at what is performing well, what's not, where would be areas to optimize, and also look at where are you getting your traffic from, because that could be another way to add a prominent place where you can add that CTA to acquire new customers. And then what I was going to say too is that while you're doing all that, you want to make sure you're listening to feedback through whether social chatter or direct customer comments. That information you can take and tweak into your entire process and make sure that you're continuously optimizing it, because the contact list health should be something that is managed ongoing, right? You want to nurture and grow it continuously. It's definitely something that can't be left left to the side as it just grows. You don't want it to jeopardize the rest of your kind of email marketing campaigns that you have going on. Okay. With that, it's now time to walk through how you can implement these strategies. So Natalie is going to take us through some of this, but before we do, we have one more poll that we'd love to get started with everybody.
Actually, before we hop into that poll, I have a few questions I want to highlight just for the general thing.
Yes, absolutely.
We talked about kind of best practices on keeping our forms short. What are the best practices on the information you should gather on that first one? And how do you gather further information once you get their initial contact?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I talked about was limiting the number of form fields, right, that you want initially. So what is critically imperative that you want to have that's included in there? First name, last name, obviously email address, and that consent to receiving that email communication. Once you've captured that information, grabbing and creating another form to create more information on that user is going to be your second touch, right? So that's where a lot of your first party data collection strategies can go into place. And that you can learn a little bit more about your customer, right? It could be demographics, it could be buying behaviors, things like that. And all of that then can be used in segmentation and the way that you're talking to your customers in more of a unique and personalized way.
Awesome. So before I ask my next one, I'm going to open up our poll. We're going to poll everyone on how familiar you are with MailJet because we're about to go into a demo to create these forms. So go ahead and start casting your votes or your answers. When it comes to using kind of generic for the sign up forms that you see, what is the best practice and is it okay to use those generic forms?
Yes. So should I let everybody answer first before I give my POV?
No, while everyone's putting in their votes, you go give your POV and then I'll share the poll results.
Yeah. So what I would say is leveraging generic forms as a guiding light is absolutely okay to use, right? But one of the key things that you want to make sure is it's personable. I think we talk a lot about that customization and personal touch. And so taking the format or the layout or look and feel is okay, but then making it unique to yourself, I think is going to be the next big key critical thing when you're really looking at your acquisition or subscriber strategy, right? What can you do it to personalize it so it speaks a little bit more about who you are as an entity or a brand versus just those kind of generic sign up forms that you see out there today.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share our results and close this poll. Let's see. Looks like we have every level. So a lot of people have used it a lot. Some have used it a little. We're going to go into a demo today on how to kind of build out contact lists and go over a lot of the best practices and putting them into action today. So love to see that some of you have had experience and love to see that some of you haven't. So this will be your first look. Before we hop into that demo, I do want to plug our playbook for best strategies. I'm going to get the exact name here. Beatrice will be dropping it in there as well as our, sorry, I don't know the exact name off the top of my head. We have our deliverability report that is in the chat as well. So definitely check that out as well as our best practices that Bea is going to jump in to the chat for you guys for additional resources. All right. And
I will see that report and I can say it has really good information in it. So highly recommend taking a peek at that.
There we go. That's the exact name. The email growth playbook. My apologies. It slipped my mind. Great. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. So that we can kick off this demo. Okay. So let me hit play. So we're looking at the MailJet dashboard. And again, we've been talking about list growth today. So we're going to hop into building a form. As you can see, I'm hopping over to our form builder. This is something that we introduced this year. And I'm going to create a new form and just show you what that flow really looks like when you're creating one. So obviously when you name it, this is an internal name. And then you hop into that form design. We have pop-up and embedded, and we will have form templates coming soon. So look forward to that in MailJet. And then from there, We have the subject line details that you fill out for your double opt-in email, and then that double opt-in email template. So everything you need to really build this experience is available in this workflow, and we'll get into the specifics in a pre-built one that I have. We also have our confirmation page, so you can build your own confirmation page or send them to an outside link. So you want to put them on your website, and then you select your contact list. So those are the steps of creating it. And now we're going to get into the specifics. We're going to hop into the embedded one first. And this is our embedded form. So again, there's no trigger. This just lives on your site. And we have a lot of different options for customization to really make it your brand. Keep in mind, I'm not an email marketer, so this is an ideal form. I'm here to just show you all of the different options. So you can edit your success and failure messages. So if there's a failure for submission or a success message, you can really customize to your own brand on a very, very minuscule level so that everything matches up with what you want to tell your customer. With the forms, you also have the ability to change the max width so it really fits into your site and your feel, and you have control of what it looks like when you're deploying it. You can also update the background and transparency colors, as well as the padding. So again, a lot of customizable options for drop shadows, and really making sure it fits your brand and the feel. You can even do an image as a background as well. So that's what the MailJet form kind of global settings on this main page looks like. Obviously, we also have a lot of the fields. I'm going to delete some here just so you can see me adding them back, and how we add those and what the different options are when we're adding elements to our form. So I'm starting with a text form, I believe. Oh, sorry. This is our content portions. So you can still drag and drop content in there as you would like to do, as you would with our email editor. You can really build it out, put your social links on there, and really design it the way you want with all of our content blocks that are available. This is the same exact flow as the email editor. So if you've used that before, definitely something you're familiar with. Okay, so I'm dropping in a text field now. And again, you can see that I can drag and drop it exactly where I want, and then I select what contact property I want to associate it with. From there, I can change the label to it so it automatically defaults to that contact property, and you can update that. You also have the options of character limits. So if you want to put a limit on it, placeholder text. So if you want something to be automatically in there as an example. And then you have the option of making it an optional or a required field. Obviously, email's defaulted requirement. Everything defaults to required, and you can turn that off. Now we select or change the contact property later as well. So we have a lot of options on each one, so that you can really see the customizations. This is a telephone number field, so it's going to have a little bit different options. Again, that is associated with a contact property. And the biggest preference here is that you can change the default country. So it can default to whatever region you're in for that country calling code. And then let's pop in a radio button. This is a newer ad for our properties. It is a true false. If you were here for our first webinar, you'll know that Julia and I both do not like eggs. So I'm being a little silly here. But this allows you to ask Boolean type questions, and you can customize those options. Again, you can change the property fields or make it a required. But the best part here is that you can change what it says. So yes or no, or if you're asking a specific question, preference on something that you're marketing to, it really gives you that flexibility to format your responses. We also have text areas. So if you want to include on a form feedback or something like that, I don't have a contact property prepped for this, but you can give them a bigger text area so you can gather more information, whether it's a custom format or you're asking for feedback or whatever it is you want from them. Again, this might not be great for the first initial contact because we want to keep it short, but it is definitely a useful field when you're gathering feedback. And again, you have those placeholder texts, the required fields, and the character limits available, so you can really customize that. Okay, so I'm going to jump into our columns. I kind of did this backwards. well, depending on how you like to do it, you can put in different columns to really design your form, decide how you want it to look, whether it's next to each other. We have a lot of options if you click on those show more options so that you can drag and drop. And again, this whole process is super intuitive to be able to drag, drop, and look how it feels. So you really get that good look for you easily. We're looking at our global settings right now. On our form styles, you can change the focus color as well as the error colors so that, again, customize to your brand. We want to make sure you have every option. Now, explicit and implicit context. So we automatically default to explicit consent. That's something that we recommend, but we do also have implicit consent. These are customizable. The only shifting that you're going to see here is that checkbox. Again, I'm going to keep it on explicit because we do recommend that. So you can preview your form. I'll show you that in the next form, but I'm going to hop into the pop-up so we can see a little bit extra options that we have with the pop-up form. Hop right in there. So again, you have all the same options on your pop-up form. You'll see that I chose implicit on this one, but everything is still available for you as far as the layouts, the global setting, nothing really changes. But the one difference here is the trigger. So with a pop-up, you need a trigger. And again, this is just a button I created that you can customize to fit into your site, your colors, whether it's like a click here. Obviously, I put click here because that is, again, something we don't do. Click here buttons, no nos. But you can put subscribe to our newsletter and it can pop up. And I'll show you what that looks like in a live website in a second. So you can preview your sign up form on a mobile or the desktop view before you go live, just to make sure it really looks exactly how you want it to. This is a feature available in our email builder, so you might be familiar with that. Okay, so once we have our form set up, our next step in the process is to enter our email details, right? So we're going to send them a double opt-in email, and we want to enter in where it's coming from, our subject line, so they know and recognize you. And then we're going to create that email. Now, with the double opt-in is the email editor. And so it's got all of the same options that if you're familiar with, or you can go back and check out our first webinar for a deeper dive. I wanted to show this double opt-in and the email editor because we do have something new, and it's these pre-built sections. So if you're looking to start a new email campaign or a double opt-in and you don't really know what the format or layout should look like, you can drag and drop pre-built sections with content. We've got a lot of them in there where it has the columns and the images that you can really kickstart it with. Having, that blank page is sometimes intimidating. So this really helps you kickstart it. And not gonna lie, I use it every single time because it makes it so much easier. So it gives me my exact format, my layout. I don't have to mess with the details as much, and I can just change it to fit exactly what I need. And again, you can preview your emails as well in the mobile, as well as in email clients, which I know someone asked about Outlook. So we do have email preview clients. So you can see how it works on Outlook, but yes, it does work in Outlook. So our final step in creating that page is the confirmation page. So once they clicked the double opt-in button, we want them to land on a confirmation page or be redirected to our website. Again, you can send them to a different link if you want them to see content. But this is, again, the same editor experience. So you don't have to learn a new tool. It's got all the same options, columns, the content. Mine's pretty basic, but you can really design it to your brand, put images in there, all of the same options you have with your forms and with your emails. We wanted it to make it an intuitive experience no matter what you're creating. So again, drag and drop, very customizable, and allows you to really create that confirmation page. So now we're going to hit save and apply, and we will check out the final step in creating a form. And that is assigning it to a contact list. Now, you can choose to add it to a current contact list or create an empty contact list. You could also create a contact list from here. There's an option to do so. I've already selected one. And then it pops me to the code. So I can copy and paste this code. I can put it directly in my website or wherever, whether it's a promotional page we want. I have a test site. Please don't judge it. It's just a test site. And it shows kind of what it looks like to have those forms I'm going to show you the pop-up form right now. So I'm going to click that trigger on my page and I'm going to fill it out. This is, and I'm first testing, as you can see, it errors out if they don't fill out that information. And that way you really get the experience and you get the information you're asking for. The rest of the fields I have is not required here. So it wouldn't error out on anything that's not required, just so you guys know. If it's required and they leave it blank, it will highlight it though. And then I get that. So from here, I'd get that email in my inbox. I would opt in, and then I would get that confirmation page. So we've been talking about the form to get the contact lists. So how do we keep them clean? We're getting all of these emails in. Some people put in junk emails. Some people put in fake emails to get a free coupon. Not that I would ever do that. But we have a tool called Verifications that allows you to verify the emails that are being put in. So you run a verification. Industry best practices is once every 3 months, and it runs this report. So as you can see, I kicked off that job, and I have a few examples in here that we can take a look at what information we get back. So it shows me the deliverability rate on the emails, as well as the sending risk of those emails. This is really important for sender reputation. If we have high risk emails, we might want to remove, we definitely want to remove those for our email list so it doesn't impact our sender reputation. As you can see, again, these are all my emails, so I know why they're medium risk because they're newer email addresses and stuff. We have a lot of documentation on what all of these different deliverability, disposable, undeliverable means on our website, and we can link that out for you. But verifications are an awesome tool to determine if that email is a legitimate email or a throwaway. Now, when we get into targeting our audiences, we also have this awesome tool of segmentation. So say we have a big contact list and we want to make sure people are engaging, or we want to try to re-engage customers who haven't. This is so important to be able to really narrow down and get direct to those customers you want to speak to. We have so many options in our segmentation. I'm kind of scrolling through them right now down to contact properties. So with this one, I'm kind of do a re-engagement demo. We have the and the or filtering. So I'm saying has opened a campaign in the last couple months, but hasn't clicked, right? So that's like they're kind of engaging, but they're not doing the behavior that I want. So I'm gonna try to target them. And that's happening in the second one. I was trying to demonstrate the or there. So I'm putting not clicked on the campaign in the last, and I believe I did 1 month. And I'm doing these shorter term because this is a demo account, but this could be a year that you're like having in a year and really target that audience that you want to re-engage. I'm putting the or condition in here and saying, okay, so they haven't clicked, or like eggs is false. So they don't like eggs and we're going to contact them. And then we can select the contact list we want to segment on, and it calculates those results and tells us who's in that segment. So as you can see, I have 21% of the contacts. That equals 56 because I have 269 email addresses in there. And that allows me to create that segment so that I can send a campaign directly to those users to try to re-engage them. And that allows that customization and maintaining those healthy lists. Also, seeing those users not engaging can help us clean our lists. So that is a lot about MailJet in a short amount of time, as well as how you build those contacts and those forms. And yeah, any questions that we might have? No, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And we are going to bring back up our deck because it is time for Q&A. Welcome back, Thomas.
It's the best time of the day. It's Q&A. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's have some fun, shall we? Cool. All right, everyone. Let's have some fun. So make sure to throw those questions in the Q&A tab, and please upvote the ones that you think should be more answered. So let's take a look at this list, shall we? All right. Okay. I'm actually going to pull this down for a moment so we can make sure we can see our lovely faces and so we can see these questions. So, all right, most upvoted ones. Okay, this one was a big one. Got a lot of upvotes. We're all talking about it. This one's coming in from Jenny. All right, this is everyone deals with this, especially dealing with higher ups. But Jenny wanted to ask any tips on how to convince higher ups that removing inactive subscribers is a best practice. Experts?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to give that one to you.
Okay. Yes, I will definitely here chime in and do have thoughts about this. So I think there's two ways that you can approach this conversation, right? Obviously, having those inactive subscribers a part of your ongoing communication, or when you're mailing to full file, right? You're sending those email communications out to your full file. It could jeopardize or impact your deliverability, right? Deliverability and sender reputation is also based on engagement. So those open rates, the click activity, etc. So that is something that is a key takeaway to take back to leadership to say, hey, I could be improving our open rates and click-through rates and entailed an ROI by removing these inactives from our active mailing subscriber list. One of the things I covered earlier too was talking a little bit about how you can leverage those inactive and work out a very separate strategy. So talking to your leadership team about saying, hey, I'm going to remove these folks. However, 10% of the file, let's say, or 5% of the file is inactive. Let's put together a win-back strategy, right? So your messaging to those subscribers may be a little bit more aggressive in the nature of, hey, we really want you to come back. Hey, we miss you. Did you see this latest offer that we have, right? And I think those are very, very key two ways of approaching it. One is really talking a little bit about ROI and performance, and then how do you continue to bring those inactives back into your active pool?
I would say data is the best way I can convince anyone of anything, showing them that, like, hey, this is costing us extra, right? Like, we're messaging people we've tried to re-engage. So here's the data. I'm going to try to save you money.
Gotta love saving money, right? That's the favorite part. And that's why we opt into emails, y'all, so we can get those coupons and those frequent gift codes and all. Yeah, it's the best part of it.
It is the best.
Okay. All right. Love it. That was a good one. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. Marion asked, can you guys give us a list of the previous webinars to watch? There's actually a link in the chat right now on our YouTube page. If you go to YouTube, type in MailJet. It's the only one. There's multiple. We have from multiple languages, but the main English one has our last Email Academy Part 1 on there. You can watch it. It's available now, and you'll see some familiar faces there. So, all right. Moving on here, shall we? Let me see this one. Okay, this one we were talking about earlier. I can pull this up right here. Is the email process? Let me pull this one up for everyone can see. Is the email opt-in confirmation process best practice for GDPR experts?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say double opt-in. Obviously, I work within our site. And so when we were even creating the forms, we had long conversations with legal about that implicit versus explicit. Best practice is the explicit double opt-in for GDPR practices, because you want that engagement and you want to ensure that they're intentionally subscribing. That is so important.
Yeah. And you can use that double opt-in confirmation. You usually see it, right? It'll say you're opting in to receive X, Y, and Z from us. This includes, and you can provide the value. Maybe the incentive is articulated somewhere there or above it, right? But leveraging that, a double opt-in is going to, you may think, hey, you know what, it's taking away from all these subscribers I could have, but it is actually really helping you, right? Not just from making sure that your lists are continuing to stay clean, that ROI, right? You're getting the most engaged subscribers to be a part of your kind of email marketing portfolio.
And there you heard it, folks. There you heard it. All right. Let's see here. Moving on, shall we? Okay. This one I enjoyed. Danny asked, do you have any examples of how you can adjust your communication based on where a contact is in the marketing sales life cycles? So that went up, shall we?
Yeah. So one of the things we talked about, right? Once you've captured that subscriber, there's an opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about that individual, right? Through first party data collection. So leveraging, again, forms to be able to then obtain a little bit more of that information. So using that information that you have on those individuals and understanding where that person is in the buying. So one of the things that you can keep track of is that Jane Doe, right, purchased these pairs of shoes 6 months ago. There's a complimentary shoe or a different brand or size that is being offered. You can use those type of retargeting and segmentation efforts to really foster your kind of the sales cycle as those customers are going through those different journeys. And each one is obviously unique, right, based on maybe categories or personas that you have selected, based on demographics or anything like that.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Okay. Moving on through these. Let's see. Ooh, we got a lot of questions coming in here. Lots of burning
It's a good
topics.
topic. Yes.
Exactly.
Because I do feel like it is the heart of email marketing.
Exactly. Okay, and I apologize if we might have already repeated this, but I think it's a good thing to drive home. But Pitar, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but what about automatic unsubscribes of contacts if they're inactive for 1 year, for example? Ooh, sunset policy. Should we send a re-engagement email after some time? How often do we use this tactic? When do we need to break up with our users and our viewers? That's the real question.
So what I would say here is this is going to be a business decision, right? As email marketers, I think depending on the type of business you support and what the life cycle of your email subscribers usually are, I think they range from 1 to 3 years, right? Depending on the brand and how they're purchasing. And so if you do have this, a policy put in place, a re-engagement email should maybe happen 9 months prior to the 1 year of term, right? To kind of get them back into the pool. What I would say is that if you have an unsubscribe and those users do get pulled out, don't go back and try to do that after the year. If that is policy that has been shared and is known in your customer base, right? You don't want to aggravate that kind of, especially if they've known they've unsubscribed after a year. But keeping them abreast as far as just like maybe there's 6-month touch, maybe there's a 9-month touch, or monthly, you're kind of re-engaging to get them pulled back in. I think that is a key tactic that you can use as far as your re-engagement strategy.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Let's see. Moving on through these, shall we? Oh man! Also, shout out to our amazing support team that are answering some of our more technical stuff that are in the Q&A. So they're doing an amazing job answering some of these. So shout out to our wonderful team. Okay, moving through these. Let's see. Natalie and Rajni, is there any ones in here that you thought were super that I've missed personally? But is there anything in here that you think,
Yeah,
oh, you know what, we gotta answer that?
I saw one from Matt about buying lists that are
Yes.
specifically created for a specific type. So I think there's going to always be business cases and use cases where you do need a purchase list, right? Especially if you're talking to a larger entity of that. But what you can do is use a lot of those safeguard and methodologies to put in place to get that extra verification, validation, right? That additional opt-in to making sure that you're not adding email addresses to your pool of active and jeopardizing it because you don't know where they may be coming from, right? And so I think adding a couple of those guardrails in place, you can buy a list and you can say, hey, we'd love to be communicating with you. Please opt into getting more information, right? You've gotten their consent. Now you can pull them into your thread. You can also use what Natalie showed us is our verifications tool, right? Something similar to that, where you're really going in and making sure that those email addresses are cleaned up before you kind of add them into your, pool of really good, engaged, active users.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Let's see.
I saw one from Elizabeth. I'm not going to pronounce the last name. What is the benefit of two-step authentication for opt-in? Is the barrier to signing up, or is it beneficial? I think it's beneficial. It can be the extra step, but that extra step means that they're really engaging. They actually want to be on your list, and that means they are a customer that will engage with your content. So while it seems like it's that extra step, it also is that extra step on them that says, no, I really am interested. So that contact wants to be on your contact list and wants to get emails from you.
100%. And impacts deliverability, your reputation, right? I'll go on with a lot of the value adds that it can do, ROI. So doing it right from the beginning is going to set you up for success.
Exactly. Oh, my favorite word, deliverability. If anyone doesn't know, that's my favorite topic in email. I love it. All right, let's see. Trying to make sure we've answered as much as we can today before our time runs out here in just a moment. But let's see. I think we might have gotten the best ones that we could today.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's looking like it, y'all. Awesome. Cool. Well, everyone, thank you so much. Looks like we are getting ready to run out of time here in just a moment, but I want to thank, first and foremost, I want to thank our wonderful support agents, making sure that we're answering some of these technical questions in our QA and our chat. So thank you to Krazi, thank you to Alexandra, Elia, everyone, I'm making sure I got everyone in here. Marina, yes, all of them are wonderful teams. So thank you to you guys answering those wonderful questions. Also, want to thank Natalie and Rajni for being here, taking time out of their busy day to be here, because we want to be here to answer these questions for you and talk about these wonderful things in email marketing. So, before we get going here, Natalie, is there anywhere you would like people to follow along? And are you posting anything about email marketing anywhere these days? Where can people follow you?
I've definitely started to. It's an emerging as I find time, but I will go ahead and send out my Twitter and my LinkedIn in that chat again. I did it once, but for anyone who wants to get in touch or provide feedback on MailJet, I'm always looking for feedback, or just stay in touch with product and marketing. Feel free.
Love it. Rajni, where can the good people of the world follow along with anything that you were talking about?
I would say LinkedIn is going to be the place where I am most prominently seen, and where you're going to see a lot of the engagement happening. We also have a MailJet blog. If you have not signed up for it, highly recommend getting your hands on it, because it is just a wealth of information that you can consistently get as you're trying to build out your email marketing portfolio.
Yes. Let's drop that link in the chat. There you go. Boom. MailJet blog. You can always find some wonderful stuff there as well. Thomas, where can we follow along with you? You can find me on Twitter, T-Bird from Texas. That's T-Bird from TX. Also on LinkedIn as well, Thomas T-Bird Canarian. I'm the only one out there. Also, I produce a podcast called Emails Not Dead. Everything about deliverability, email marketing. We've had amazing thought leaders all over the world that are in email on there. So also take a look at that. Listen with your ears. I just posted the blog accidentally because I'm moving too quickly. So you know what? There's the blog again. Here is our podcast, Emails Not Dead. Also, we have another big event coming up. It's coming up real soon. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Our wonderful, amazing senior email developer, Megan Bushhausen, just made this amazing email. Hope you got to see it. But we're going galactic this year, y'all. Email Camp 2023 Mission Control is coming out October 4th to the 5th. Make sure you sign up for that. I got to make sure I post the right link for that because I'm moving too quickly. Let's throw that in there. I hope I get to see every single one of y'all that are in this room right now to join us for that event. October 4th to the 5th. It should be a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of familiar faces. And also joined by me for about 6 hours a day. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of good times, and lots of good content on email marketing and deliverability and all that fun stuff. So awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much. Again, Natalie, Rajni, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Also, our amazing support agents for helping us out today. Also, shout out to our content manager, Bea, and Laura, also helping us out today as well. So don't forget, if you want to rewatch this again, come back in about 30 minutes and you can watch it right here on the same page. If not, if you forget, it's going to go on our YouTube as well. So do not worry, you will be able to watch this again. So everyone, I would like to wish you a great day, a great evening, great anything, wherever the heck in the world you are, and we will see you soon. All right, see you in a few weeks. Part 3 of this series should be coming out in November, I believe. So keep an eye out for that. Part 3 will be coming out after Email Camp. But hey, if you want to fix, make sure you come and join us for Email Camp. All right, take care, everyone. We'll see you down the line. See ya.
Thank you. Have a nice day.